Aretha Robinson once said to Little Ray Robinson, make a promise to never let nothing or anyone turn you into a cripple. Ray, the movie, was filmed in 2004. Ray had tragic events that happened in his life as a young boy. He witnessed his little brother drown at such a young age. And a few years after that, he became blind himself. His mother guided him to use his hearing and his sounds to get him through life. And my favorite part of the movie, I would say, is the music and the love that he had for music, the love he had for people, the love he had for women. You know, he just was a lovable person. But he also fought demons that followed him with the tragic deaths of his brother and his mom, and then he started using drugs. Ray also had the women and the drugs kept him out on the road, away from his wife. He was caught up into the music. This was a time during segregation where they tried to segregate the blacks and the whites, but Ray would perform in front of any crowd. He had no problems. But once he got to Georgia, they tried to get him to perform in front of an all-white audience, and he didn't want to do that. So he told him he wasn't performing, and they banned him from the state. And like I say, he had a child with the woman that he was on the road with. He fathered a child, one of his backup singers, and she later died of an overdose. He never got over her death. He started doing drugs more and more, and his wife had found out about the child after the death of the woman, and they brought the child into the home. So later on, he started traveling more with the music. He never stopped performing. Even though the death of his brother was always haunting him, he just never just got over it. You know, he continued to try to move on, but that followed him for many, many, many decades. So he decided to go perform somewhere. I can't remember where about, but he took a trip, and they knew he was on drugs for the way sometimes he performed, and they busted him and found narcotics. And they forced him to go into rehab, which he went into rehab, and that saved him, you know. And like I say, after the rehab, he changed his life, you know, and he lived a better life. But the sights, and the sounds of the movie was so beautiful. I mean, the music, the way he sing, it's just so much about that made the movie so good, you know, and you can't go wrong watching it. The movie that affected me the most, the part of the movie that affected me the most was him being blind. And by him being blind, I live through that every day myself. This is a personal reason. My fiance is blind, and when I started dating him, I had to figure out, why is this man doing things that he do so well in his home, you know, by himself, you know? And then I'm like, watching Ray movie, I'm like, this guy is just like Ray. I mean, he's very independent. He don't let nothing hinder him from living his life, and he lives his life just like Ray did. So that part of the movie, the blindness really affects me the most. And the film was out of his genre. Like I say, it was a biography movie. It was drama, and the movie sets out all of that. You can see all of that in this movie. It was really, really good. It's very clear. It's a must-see movie with all the great sounds, and the music sets the movie out so well. My conclusion, I'm going to say, Ray had a horrific, bad, tragic life as a kid. And any kid that would probably wouldn't want to go through. Experiencing the death of his little brother drowning. Then later on going blind. Then his mother died. And it just, the movie is just so good. It's, I mean, he lived a life, even though he had tragic, it didn't stop him. It never handicapped him. He was able to move forward. He got a wife, beautiful children. He went through the drugs. He got off the drugs. And he became one of the #1 performers in the world. You know, he was great. And I love Ray Charles. And that's the end.